Welcome to this new video. In this video, we are going to see how to unpivot column in Power Query. So in Power Query, you can transform columns into attribute value pairs. The column becomes rows. So if you have a column like this, A1, A2, A3, you can change it in this way, like the headings of A1, A2, A3, you can make it into a single column, and the meaning all the values, you can keep it in another single column. We will see an example of this when we can use this through this video. So Power Query will always create the attribute value pair by using two columns. So first is the attribute, the name of the column heading that were unpivoted. So this can be termed as that attribute, and the value is the value that are underneath each of the unpivot column headings. So these are the attributes, and these are the values, and these are the, so that can be changed into two different columns using unpivot. So we have an example for this. We can go to transform data. So this is the table we are having. This can be termed as what we have seen attribute, and this can be termed as values. We are having a table of country, and we are having a date, and with respect to that date, we are having certain values for each countries. And if you want to unpivot the column, how you can unpivot? If you right click on this, there are three options: unpivot column, unpivot other columns, and unpivot only selected column. See, if you are clicking this country, this column, and if you are doing unpivot column, means this country is going to come as a rows. We are having three rows. Three rows it will come. Country, 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 the name will come. And corresponding to that, the next column, this USA, Canada, and Mexico is going to come. If you are selecting only this column and if you are doing unpivot, we will see an example. First, the same table we have referenced it, and if we just try to see, okay, just try to unpivot the column, you can see the attribute here and the value here, the same way which we saw in the example, isn't it? So country name has come here and the value. The same thing if you do it here also. If you are doing it in this date is the attribute here. This date is going to come in all three columns. So if you right click here, unpivot the column, of course that date came over this column and the corresponding values came here with respect to the countries. So if you want to do a perfect unpivot for this, means okay, you need the date also as column, and you need the value also. That means okay, you need to select all these dates and you can do it unpivot. And now you are getting the correct order. That means okay, under USA you are having all three dates, and for all three dates we are having all the three values. Same thing for Canada and same thing for Mexico also. So this is an example of the first one, that is unpivot column. So there is another one called unpivot other columns. That means if you are right clicking here and telling unpivot other columns, this column won't get unpivoted. All the other columns will get unpivoted. So there are certain scenarios in which we have to do this. We have to select unpivot column, other columns. That scenarios you can use that. If you want to get the same result, here how we got the result was we selected all these columns and we did unpivot columns. We didn't select the country column. So here if you select the country column and if you do unpivot all other columns, that is the same thing what we have done here. So the scenarios are different because if you are having a dynamic column, this increase of dynamic columns, there are certain times when the columns increase dynamically with respect to the data set. Those kind of times, if you want to get a resultant data set like this, you might have to use unpivot other column. The same thing like here also, unpivot only the selected column. If you are selecting the column, that column only is going to get unpivoted. So if you are selecting this column and if you are using an unpivoted column, only that column is going to get unpivoted. Almost same feature like the first one. So here also, if you want to get the same result, you have to select all these columns and unpivot only the selected columns. You got the entire result similar. Now we are going to see the usage of this unpivoted column. We are having a table. The table is like a shopping table. A person has gone to three shops and have purchased products worth this much. It is not in an order way. So it is like, okay, in a Lulu shop, they have went and they have gone 5 times there and they have purchased this much values. And in Ramos, they have gone 4 times and they have gone this much values, and you need to get the total. You need to get the total, how much they have gone to, how much they have spent in below, how much they have spent in remotes, how much they have spent in more, how much they have spent in high. There are lots of problem we can see in this table. One is the value is not written properly. Everything together they have put in one column or one cell. So we need to separate this value. So you need to separate this value and then you have to calculate. So separating this value, it is easy because there are certain transformation we can use. You can right click here itself and you can split the column by delimiter, and you can use the comma delimiter. That's it. We got all the values. See, these values are dynamic because in certain rows we are having 5 columns, and certain rows we are having values only for 2 columns. So this will be in other rows. Sometimes they might have to, they might have to transform to 10 columns. So if the columns are increasing, you can't select this unpivot columns or unpivot only selected column, because we don't know how much columns it is going to come. Only thing we know is that this column will be, we will be having hands on our first column. So with respect to the first columns, we can unpivot it. So for that, we can use this unpivot other columns. Why we are unpivoting other columns? Because we need to get the total of it. So if you unpivot it, we can group everything and we can get the total. So we can right click here. You can right click here and you can select all these things. Of course, since we are having 5 columns here, we can select everything. But suppose if the next detail, the next set of values if we are getting that is 20 column, then it is difficult, because once we do the transformation in the 20 columns also, whatever columns we select here, the first 5 columns only will get selected. Many columns will not get selected. So only way we can do is that we can right click here and we can go to other unpivot other columns. Now we got rid of all the nulls and we got only the exact value of columns. We don't need this attribute column. We need only the shop and the value. So you can remove this column, and now we got the value for everything and the shop name. Now, if you get a table like this, it is easy for us to group and get the total value of with respect to the shop. So you can group by shop, and you can get the total value. And the operation which we are going to do is sum, and sum we are going to get from the value. So with respect to the different groups, you got this much values, they have shop with respect to the shops. These are the scenarios which we can use this unpivot columns. Hope this will help you. This will give you a logic how to use this unpivot column. Have a nice day. Thank you.